got fired over the years, that they finally brought in a competent body. This guy, his name is Ryan Smith, ex-SAS. Any idea what SAS stands for?
Special Air Service.
Where is that from?
That's Britain.
Oh, exactly. That's
they murdered all the
that's
Irish.
It. That's
set them all
it.
up.
So this is the man who's now running the show. Actually, he's a good guy. I told him that his staff was really awful. I should just get rid of all of them. He said he agreed. And I think, as a matter of fact, this year we'll be seeing different personnel covering Bilderberg conferences. Good guy. Anyway, you've seen the... Well, the worst thing you can do is hate them. You know what I mean? Because what it does, it just clouds over your sense of judgment. And I don't hate these people at all. I respect them tremendously. You may not agree with me, but you have to if you want to fight a good fight. What I'm going to do right now, anyway, this is just a general idea, overview of some of the, set the scene, a little bit of ambiance. So what do you guys think? Is it fun? Yeah. How many of you are coming with me this year to Greece?
Will you pay my ticket?
I don't think so.
Okay. No Greece for me.
I'm not an NGO. I'm going to just very briefly tell you about the structure, their history, and we'll just take it from there. Bilderberg is met for the first time in 1954 in a small little town on the outskirts of Amsterdam called Oosterbeek, B-E-E-K, not B-E-C-K, which is another town in Belgium. Don't confuse the two. The first few meetings, as you will see in my book, were sponsored by the CIA, as a matter of fact. Surprise, surprise. They're called the Bilderberg Group because the hotel where they met was called the Bilderberg Hotel, owned by, at the time, by the Dutch royal family. Usually they meet in a small town on the outskirts of a big town, somewhere easily accessible from the main artery, a big city, big airport. So, for example, in 2006 they met in Canada, which is on the outskirts of Ottawa, major city. In 2005 they met in Rotterdam. It's a tiny little town on about 35-minute drive from Munich International Airport. In 2004 they met in Stresa on the Lake Maggiore, on the outskirts of Milan. In 2003 they met in Versailles, which is again on the outskirts of Paris. So again, these people do have excellent, exquisite taste, usually 5-star luxury hotels. They take over the entire hotel. The meetings begin on a Thursday. They take over the hotel on a Wednesday. The CIA protects the American delegation. The MI6 protects the British delegation. The Israeli Mossad protects 1 or 2 Israelis who attend these conferences. And the rest of the delegates are protected by the local and national Secret Service. And if you have a few eminent Greases, then they are, they get special protection as well from the people as well. About 130, 120, 125, depending on the year, of the people are invited to these meetings. They usually meet in May, beginning of June. Out of the 120, 130, about 60, 65, these are your usual attendees, your regulars. These are your inner circle, people like David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, Zbigniew Brzezinski, people who have been coming to these things for years, for decades, if not for generations. Then you have another 50, 60 attendees who get invited to these meetings. They're not regulars. Most of them don't even know that there's a organized structure behind all of these meetings. These people could be from the field of politics. They could be labor leaders. They might be people from the mainstream press, people from the corporations. Again, they're there because someone within the inner circle felt that their presence was necessary. So, for example, are you doing this because you can't hear me or because you're scratching your ear? You can't hear me. Do you want to come closer? Are you sure? Yeah? Okay. Can anyone else not hear me? It's a question. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Can you hear me over there? Perfect. So what was I saying? People are invited. Thank you. So the ones who are invited, you get occasional invitees whose knowledge serves the greater purpose and the greater needs of the Bilderbergers. So, for example, a few years back in 2004 in Italy, this man gets invited from the University of Oslo. Why would a man from, a bookish gentleman with glasses from University of Oslo get invited to a Bilderberg conference? Well, he was invited because he's one of the experts on one of the key ingredients of genetically modified crop. Now, he might not know anything else in the world, but that knowledge of his serves the greater interest. It's another piece in this Bilderberger puzzle for the world domination. So again, out of the 120, 130 people who attend, 60, 65, these are your regular attendees. Sorry for crossing in front of the screen. These people, they come, they're grateful to be invited. Most of them, again, have absolutely no idea that there's a general structure to this thing. They come, they're pleased to be there, they're pleased to establish the contacts with the likes of Rockefellers and the Kissingers. As a matter of fact, one of the things I show in the book, some of the letters from people such as Peter Sutherland saying to a few of his personal invitees, come, you're going to have a great time, everything is paid for, you have the best food, you have massages and all these other things. I mean, wouldn't you come?
Yeah.
Come on, I mean, I would. It doesn't mean that I would go along, but hey, to get a good massage in a 5-star luxury hotel, it certainly does you well. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what Bilderberg is and what they're not. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, and I think we better start with what they're not, because again, a lot of you know, evil, bad, you know, microchips and lizard people. No, they're not lizard people, believe you me. Bilderberg is not a Jewish Masonic conspiracy, all right? Now, a lot of you might or might not think that. I know a lot of people out there, that's why I say it, believe it to be a Jewish Masonic conspiracy. Jews have nothing to do with it. Masons neither. They're Masons. They're pedophiles. They're, you know, they're psychopaths. They're homosexuals. There's whole, you know, 130 people. Yeah.
You probably have a little bit of all that in there.
Exactly. You have a little bit of everything. So it's not a Jewish Masonic conspiracy, although there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet based on extremely fragile logic, disinformation, trying to convince people that it is. First of all. Second of all, it's not a Illuminati conspiracy. You know, I don't know if you've read Dan Brown, but it's not an Illuminati conspiracy. I've been studying these people for a long time. And I can tell you I've also spent 2.5 years literally living in Florence, investigating one of the key national libraries in the world, which is the National Library in Florence. And I've never found any shred, any whatsoever, that relates Bilderberg to the Illuminati. Now, one of the things that, for example, Chris Milligan, my publisher, is an expert on Skull and Bones. Now, he told me the other day he can link Skull and Bones to the Bavarian Illuminati. That's a historical fact. And I can take it from there and link it to the Venetian black nobility of the Middle Ages. But there's no link. Is that a telephone? There's no link from the Bilderbergers to what? Anyway, to the Illuminati. And finally, most importantly, Bilderberg. Can you turn it off? Like step on it or something?
I think it's been bugged.
You can't find a telephone.
No.
We can hear it.
Stopped.
Okay, it's gone.
Okay. And finally, Bilderberg is not a monolith. By that I mean, no group of people, no matter how powerful they are, sitting around in a dark room holding hands, staring at a crystal ball, planning the world's domination. Now, I know you're laughing and it's funny, but the reason I say this, because I listen a lot to people who have these misconceptions about what Bilderberg is, and there's a lot of crap, I'm sorry, crap, literally being spewed out by people who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. It is not a monolith. Nobody sits in a room holding hands, staring at a crystal ball, telling people what to do. Nobody tells anybody what to do. What it is, literally, as you well know in the world, the way it is, there are those who, you know, steer the events and those who react to the events. While obviously the latter, you know, those who react to the events, they are far more numerous, greater in numbers. You see their names and faces plastered in magazines, in articles. We know their life stories, their sex stories, their personal, you know, marriage stories. It is the former who usually lead the events. And at the center of this, you know, giant conspiracy, if you want to call it, is this group of people called the Bilderberg Group, which is literally as they call themselves, the aristocracy of purpose between North American and European elites, whose idea is the creation of neo-colonial world empire. Again, the creation of giant cartels more powerful than any nation on earth, destined. You want me to come over there and I'll talk to you closer? I feel bad about you having to do this.
It's all right.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it works.
Recording.
What you're looking at is a. Are you sure you don't want to come over here? Yeah, all right.
Right over
How
here.
do you just step by?
Yeah, why don't you do that? I mean, this is a long talk. You're going to wear out your ear.
That's a great idea.